I was talking to a mate the other day about football, as you do, and he said to me, "You've got some quite unpopular opinions, really." So it made me think, and I was thinking, well, are the views that I've got really that unpopular, or are there other people that kind of think the same way I do about it? I guess I'm kind of a pragmatist to a certain extent, because I kind of see things, look at things for how they are, rather than how I want them to be. Some might argue that I'm a realist. So I don't know. So I thought that I might do a few videos just of opinions, because football's all about opinions to see whether my opinion is unpopular, or whether people kind of agree with me or not. I don't know. So this could backfire and make me look a complete twonk, or even more of a complete twonk than you might already think I look. So apologies now if that's the case. And obviously I am not intending to upset anybody with my opinion, or create controversy with my opinion. I'm just kind of voicing an opinion. So let's see what you guys think. And of course, feel free to comment below and put your opinion as well. It'd be interesting to find out, where I'm at, how bad my opinions are or not. So the first thing I thought I'd talk about is the issue of club ownership, I guess, and whether we think that silverware is more important than anything, and how we feel about money in the overall scheme of things. So that kind of sounds a bit disjointed, but I guess if I start to ramble on, and then you can kind of hopefully get the gist of it, right? So and let me firstly say that I am no way a Levy or ENIC fanboy. I am not their biggest fans. I don't necessarily agree with the decisions they make, but at the same time, I'm not necessarily a Levy or a ENIC hater either. So I look at it from two perspectives, I guess. So Tottenham Hotspur Football Club have been part of my life since I was 11 years old. Okay, when I first got into football as a young lad living in London, and I was very fortunate that I started to support the club just as they came up from the second division into the first division, and it's at this point where we arguably had our best period since the 60s, when we won the double. So 81, 82, 84, those were all memorable years, with some sustained success. Well, following on from that, we have had absolutely no success at all. Now, you can argue that we've had, a couple of cups in the 90s, a cup in the 2000s, and we've been close and so on. But we've never really, not to the extent of your Man Uniteds, your Liverpools, your Nottingham Forests, your Aston Villas, teams that had glory years way back when, but have also maintained that during that period. Albeit, your Villas and your Nottingham Forests have kind of dropped right out of that. But I guess Liverpool and Man United are the ones that we would kind of hold up there and go, well, but actually they've been great for the whole of that period. They've always been winning something. It's been one or the other of each of those clubs. They've had sustained success. So that's why when people go, we're a sleeping giant, we're a big club waiting to break out, and we deserve more, and all the rest of it, I kind of go, do we really? Because I'm not being funny, but what dictates that you deserve to have success? And it gets harder and harder as time goes on, because some clubs have become richer and richer, and they've got someone who's going to chuck loads of money at it, and that makes that even harder. So I guess when it comes to the ENIC scenario, and I know there are lots of people, myself included, that really miss the old White Hart Lane. But as a fan, going back many years, I've not really been able to get a season ticket until we got the new stadium, and to be able to go on a regular basis. Prior to that, I would go to odd games here and there whenever I was lucky enough to get a ticket. So quite clearly there was a need for the club to have a bigger stadium that would attract more people and create more revenue. And whether we like it or not, it's just a matter of fact. Even if you look at it, Chelsea want to build a new stadium, Everton want to build a new stadium, Arsenal have built a new stadium, West Ham have got a new stadium, Man City have got a new stadium. It's always happening where they're trying to create more opportunity and better facilities for the future. So I think it's always going to have been coming. It was always going to happen that we had to have that. Now, I'm going to talk about the stadium and the pros and cons of the stadium probably for another video. But so when you talk about ENIC as owners, they have delivered something that was desperately needed. Very much, I'm a realist, right? I'm a pragmatist. I'm talking about it as I see it, right? So for the average fan who was always able to go anyway, has followed the club and been able to have a season ticket for all of the years, that makes no sense, because it's not affected them, and they miss the spirit and the feeling of the old stadium. And I get that, and there's lots of people that take the mic out of being able to have the longest bar in Europe, and great club shop and all the rest of it, and trying to put that up there as a joke as to why we haven't had success. But those things are just things that owners believe are required. Now, and this comes back to the point about silverware versus success for a fan or for an owner, because as a fan, all we want is a glory day. We want to win games, we want to beat our nearest rivals, and we want to win silverware. We want to be seen as successful. We want to be the greatest team, because for us, our team is the greatest team, regardless. So we want to get to finals, we want to win them, we want to pick up trophies and so on. And to do that, you need the best players, to do that, the best managers, the best tactics, and so on. So that's what we're all crying out for. Spend the money, Levy, buy the biggest players, and so on and so forth. From a club's point of view, what they want is sustained revenue, that's going to bring more and more money into the club, because the club is a business. And that's the problem with football, right? Certainly modern football. Modern football is not about the fan. It's not about the match going fan to that extent. It's about the brand, the overall brand, and how much money can can be made off of that brand. It's in the same way as any other business, right? So UEFA, FIFA, the FA, Sky Sports, the Premier League, La Liga, all these people have a monopoly on what's in our hearts, right? So they have taken something that we love and created a business out of it that is all about money and finance and opportunity for them. And you're not going to change it, realist, you know? You're not going to change it. It is what it is. They want to make money out of the thing that we love. So we're in that situation, right, where you don't really have a choice, because football and your club is almost like a drug. It's in you. You know, you can't explain why you will keep going back time after time after time after time, spending money after money on something that can actually bring you heartache, real heartache. It's brought grown men to tears to see them relegated or to lose a final and stuff like that, right? So it is absolutely like a drug, right? But they control your drug, and so you kind of have to look at it from that point of view. So for them, success is what's bringing in the most money. So Champions League clearly brings in the most money. So being in the Champions League, coming fourth, is seen as success. Arsenal have lived off that for 20 years. And we took the mickey out of them all the time because they believed as fans that was success, because that's what the club bred into them. Now, yeah, okay, they've won trophies here and there, and they may even win a trophy this season, God forbid. But the point is, that is what is deemed a success for that club, because it brings in the money. So we've got fans now saying, I'm not worried about getting Europa League. I want to win Europa or get into the Europa, because if you get into the Europa, you've got to play Thursday nights and Sundays, and if we don't play in that league, we've got more opportunity to push on in the league and get that prize that is top four. So I'm like, okay, so you don't want to be in a competition to win Silverware and potentially progress into the Champions League because you want to have more rest time this year to be able to get into that other competition the year after, which you might get into if you win that competition. So, we're all full of contradictions, aren't we? Which kind of brings me on to the other point I was going to make about owners. How many of us, and you can do this, look upon yourself and have a think about it, right? How many of us have complained about how much money Man City have spent? How many have complained about what Chelsea have spent, what Manchester United used to spend and still do? We've even talked about the money that Liverpool have spent, as if to say, you bought the league. It was the same, if I remember back when Blackburn won it, it was the same there, where we all said, yeah, but they just went out, bought the league. And that's why they only won it once, because they just bought the league, because all they wanted was Dalglish just wanted to win the league again. So, but then we're advocating for our club to be bought out by a multi-billionaire, which Joe Lewis is, that's prepared to just have us as their plaything. Let's be honest, is the owner of Manchester City really a Manchester City fan? Of course he's not. He's a businessman, but he's got so much money he can throw it around and do what he wants. He's building his own brand through his own devices. The same with Abramovich at Chelsea. Now, the guy was buying up everything in London, and he bought up a football team, he chucked money at it and all the rest of it, because he could, for the fun of it, because that's how he felt. Now, if he decided to pull out of it, to pull out of Chelsea tomorrow, what happens then? So, so I guess the point I'm making is, is that what you really, really want? You know, how many of us would prefer to be able to say we won the league by developing homegrown players that are part of the club, that have a mix of youth and experience and so on? Who would want that? You can't tell me you wouldn't. I would much prefer to win the league without it being you've bought the league just by buying every player and any player that's come along. I would. That's what's in my heart, right? And like I said, you know, this is me. This is just my opinion, right? I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that's my opinion. That's what I kind of feel, you know. So for me, you know, whilst I say I don't love Levy, I don't love ENIC, but then I don't hate them either, because I kind of understand where they're trying to go with it, because they're trying to do something slightly different. They're trying to build a brand. They're trying to create revenue streams to make the club self-sufficient, and to be successful in terms of bringing money in. Now, could they do more? Yeah, absolutely. Could they spend more money? Yeah, probably. You know, do we as fans deserve it? Yeah, definitely. But just because we feel we deserve it doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. Because, you know, like I said, you know, they've had half a dozen years of sustained success in terms of reaching the Champions League, getting good revenue coming. Now got a venue that can attract multiple other events that can also make money for them and for the club. So they're not just gonna turn their backs on it, right? And any club now that's getting a new stadium, I guarantee you, will be incorporating those kind of initiatives to try to give themselves that edge. And it won't be just to improve the football team, it will be to improve the brand. So, you know, I don't think we should kid ourselves that ENIC are the only ones that are going to do this stuff. I think most clubs are going to try and do this, because ultimately these guys that own it as a plaything, they will get bored at some point. So you can enjoy it while you can. But then equally, I am not slagging off Man City or Chelsea for winning the things the way they did. And if we were to win the league by buying it, I would enjoy it exactly the same as everybody else. But being a realist and being I don't know, a fan of a different way, I kind of just see it differently. I kind of would like to see it in the way that we would dream of it being done. In the same way, when we think about football and the complaints that we're kind of seeing at the moment of people moaning about winning the Jose way, you know, you got half the fans saying a win's a win, you got other half of the fans going, oh yeah, but we had crap possession, because they are elitists. That they want it to be the Tottenham way. They want it to be what we dream football would be, you know, fast flowing, high press, slick passing, you know, really creative, you know, attacking flair football. But unfortunately, that kind of football is not what's always winning, and we don't have the players for it. So it's a real conundrum, and to be honest with you, I'm not really answering my own questions, but I'm just kind of voicing an opinion that whichever way we look at it, ENIC are probably there to stay until they've done what they want to do. Things could be a lot worse than they are. Things could be better than they are. But we are where we are, and I think we need to be realistic about it, and kind of do a little bit of soul searching about what do we actually want from it, and what is right and what is wrong, and kind of go with it. So it's just an opinion, but that's how I feel about Silverware, ownership and money in football. Let me know what you think. Rip me apart, I'm okay with that, it's fine. and I'll give another opinion maybe tomorrow. Up the Spurs.